All right. Welcome back to the Vulcan Soapbox, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. I'm your gracious host, Enos. We're going to uncover a lot of popular topics, not just popular topics that has been requested. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna go around. We got some guests, returning guests. We'll start off with Kev.
Yo, yo,
Uh,
yo, Cam D in the house.
there we go. Derek,
Hey, hey, D-Bane here.
yeah, and Coach Andre.
Everybody keeping it short and sweet. I'm gonna do the same. Glad to be in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome.
What's going on, everybody? Excited to do the show. Let's get to it.
Yeah, like I said, a
All
lot of
right,
these topics.
it is now public now, everybody. So feel free to go on there and share it on your pages or whatever.
Yeah,
We
definitely
encourage
share, and if the
everybody
people,
to ask questions, make comments. We'll try to address them on the show.
yeah, definitely, and make sure that the people that all the viewers that's watching, make sure you share all streaming um, platforms. Keep in mind to subscribe. It's like I'm echoing. Subscribe and like the channel or like the episodes we're putting out. That definitely will help us out. All right, so today we're gonna get into the topics. The first one we're gonna get into today, fellas. The first topic is law of attraction. Got a question for the panel. Um, hold on. Hold on for a minute. Make sure that screen is set. Everybody can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're good. All right, so law of attraction questions for the panel. Force for good or evil. I'm gonna start with let's just do yes or no answers, and then we're gonna circle back around, and everybody can give their reasons why. I'm gonna start with Cam, Derek, and Coach, and then
We're
we'll
getting
go with Vulcan.
we're getting some a noise in the background.
All right, that's
Yeah, I
Cam.
hear that too.
That's Cam. All right, so Cam,
You always coming for me, Enos, bro. You always coming for me, dog.
yeah,
Always.
yeah. So just try to unmute it. Just unmute yourself when you're talking, but when the panel, if I don't catch you, just be mindful of that. But it's your turn to go ahead and go. So, what's your thoughts on that? Force good, law of attraction. Is it for good or evil? Yes or no, and then we come back around and you can explain.
Man, it can be used. It can be used for good and evil, man. That's a loaded question, brother.
Mm. So you're saying both? Okay, Derek, what's up?
I'm gonna go force for evil.
All right, force for evil. Coach.
I agree with the first brother, man. It could be depends on how you use it.
Okay. Vulcan.
Sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
The question is the law of attraction a force for good? Is it a force for good or evil?
Uh, as a whole, I'd have to say it's a force for evil.
All right. All right. So we're gonna start off with Cam. Give your reasons why, and then Derek behind him, the coach, and end it off with Vulcan.
Well, it can go with what we were talking about last time, right? About anything that's not a derivative of God, right? Could that be within its nature? But I think if obviously if you're manifesting good money, positivity, that's what you're gonna receive. But if you're thinking about bad stuff, then bad stuff may very well follow. Red car. Think about red cars. Now all of a sudden I'm seeing red cars. So
Okay. All right. So both. Okay. All right. Let's go with Derek. You said,
Well, yeah. Well, the reason I
well,
say is
well. Hold on. Before Derek, let me switch up because
okay.
Derek and Vulcan agree. Let's do Cam
Okay.
and then Coach, and then we get Derek after that. So it says Coach and Cam agree.
Okay.
All right, Coach.
I'm gonna go. So I really can't speak on this topic without going biblical, and there's plenty of scriptures to support, such as you can go all down the road, anywhere from Joshua 1:8. Keep this book of the law always on your lips, meditate on it day and night. Power, life, and death are in the tongue. You know, so many scriptures that support what it is. But it can't, just like anything else, it can be taken out of context.
Okay. Okay. Got some comments. Shout out to Help the Bear. Let's talk about it. What's good? What's up, my bro? What's up? All right, Derek. Oh, hold on. One more. Gotta read one more comment. G, trade the truth with the appearance. Okay. Shout
I
shout
did.
out.
I'm laughing because I saw it earlier. I ain't say nothing about it.
Desiree, the LOA is real, but the secret, oh, discredits the Bible. Interesting. Shout out to Des Monique. All right, let's go to Derek.
Well, my belief is it's the law of attraction is a fallacy. And it's a fallacy for this reason. If you take, let's take the porn industry. You've got all these men who are obsessed, who are fantasizing, who are wanting, who are desiring, who are picturing these things in their life, and they're never going to happen. They're never going to happen that way. I think the law of attraction, as we say it, is hiding behind a process. If you were to follow somebody who said they've manifested something from the law, quote unquote, the law of attraction, this is what you would see. You would see somebody that took their thoughts and they changed their thoughts. And then as they change their thoughts, the words and everything starts to change. Once their behavior starts to change, then quote unquote, this manifestation starts to happen. The law of attraction should be called the law of doing, because you got to change your mind, you got to change your thoughts, and you actively have to do something to manifest something in your life. Everything else, in my opinion, is happenstance.
Okay, okay. Before I want to do Cam, or do you have a counter against that, Cam or Andre? Let's go with Cam first before I go to Vulcan.
What was the question?
No, do you have any counter argument against what Derek just said?
No, I don't, man. I really don't. I mean, I agree. I agree. I agree. As usual. My boy hitting the stogie, man. You got a Monte Cristo?
No doubt.
CI legend.
What about you, Coach?
I agree because the way that it's taught, I can understand that. But what they need to understand is that what the law of attraction is, it is a process, it is a formula. And when you look at the word attraction, there's a word in the word attraction. That word is act or action. So you can't have attraction without action. And that's one of the things that I want to make sure people understand. It's not just thinking things and it comes into fruition. No, you got to act. You got to do something. So I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
All right, Vulcan. Uh, what's your thoughts?
So as far as
Reasons
you already
why.
covered, sorry, say it again.
Yeah, your reasons why. You said it's a force for
Well,
good or evil.
so I would say it's a force for evil primarily because if I have to pick one of the two, I'm going to go evil. And the reason why I got to make that distinction, if I have to pick one, is because this show is about logical, critical thinking, being reasonable. If you want, the Bible would say Romans 12, be reasonable. We're commanded to be reasonable. In John 1, Christ is Jesus called the Word. The Word became flesh. That word is the word logos. We get the word logic from, right? So we're commanded to be reasonable. My point is saying this is there's something called the composition fallacy. And the inverse of the composition fallacy, I'll get into that as well. But basically, just because something's true of the part doesn't mean it's true of the whole. What I mean is that a piece of an elephant may be light, but that doesn't mean the entirety of the elephant is light, correct? So to say, oh, this part of the elephant's light, so the elephant's light, that would be considered the composition fallacy. Conversely, if if the whole elephant is heavy, it doesn't mean that all of the elephant is heavy. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So just because there's components of what we would call the law of attraction that is true, just like most things in life, everything Hitler said wasn't untrue, but his movement was false, right?
Yeah.
The same thing goes for everything else in life. So the law of attraction, as it's taught as a whole, is evil because of its misuse of language. What about the law of attraction is an actual law? We know about the law of gravity. We know about laws, jaywalking laws, and things of that nature. It appeals to a standard above and beyond us that this particular reaction, I should say, has to occur based off the cause. That's what a law is. There's chemical laws. When you get into the table of elements and things of that nature, all throughout our lives, right? You see these laws. Nothing about the law of attraction is an actual law. If it made a more modest claim like guideline of attraction or principles of attraction, then I would have less of an issue with that word. So that's in short what I would say about that.
All right, shout out to Desiree. I appreciate the correcting me. Yeah, LOA. That was the law of attraction. LOL. Yeah, laughing out loud. Appreciate that, Desiree. A vibrational alignment must be there. You got to match it to attract it. And shout out to G. G said, "Here we go with these fallacies." Yarning emoji. Shout out to G. All right. So, any counter arguments against that, Cam and Coach?
No, I agree with him. But it's like anything else. You can say the same thing about Christianity or anything else, And it's true that sometimes people take parts of one thing and make it the whole thing, but that's not always the case. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cam?
I can agree with context, right? But I mean, a lot of the Bible is contextual as well. I mean, it's just it can be a slippery slope. Like I heard Tyson, is it Neil deGrasse?
Mm-hmm.
That's guy. So he had something similar to your analogy, Vulcan, with the composition fallacy. Never heard. I don't. Man, this is new. But he had said something about how we know about the ocean. That's like saying there's no life in the ocean, but you get a glass of water and you dip it in the ocean, and you see
Absolutely.
There's no life in the ocean because there's no water in the glass,
Yes.
right? So is that something like we were talking about?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That
Okay.
is exactly what we're talking about.
Definitely.
Okay.
I want to get Derek in here.
Well, hold on. I want to say this real quick, just so because Cam said it pretty well, but just to make sure it's clear. Neil deGrasse Tyson makes the point about the ocean. He basically says it's another analogy for the composition fallacy. Fallacy means you're being unreasonable. You're making a point that is illogical. I mean, it does not correspond to reality. It's not true. So, and so what happens with the composition when he says if you just get a glass of water and get some water out of the ocean, you go, oh, there's no life in here, so there must not be any life in the ocean. That's the composition fallacy. And again, conversely, if you look in the whole ocean and see that there's life in the ocean, and then somebody has a glass of ocean water, you go, there must be life in that ocean water because there's life in the ocean. That's not necessarily true. So good point, Cam.
Yes, I agree, but so you're using that to discredit the law of attraction?
Yes, because there's nothing about the law of attraction. Okay, let me ask this question then. What about the law of attraction is an actual law?
That could be defined. I mean, that could in context, a law is whatever somebody else says it is.
Okay.
The law
Slavery
of
was legal,
it's
was a
not
All right.
law.
just a law. So when you say a law, it depends on how you're teaching it. Because one thing is
Scientific. Go ahead.
when you say law of attraction and you understand that that's a formula, it encompasses other things in the process. It's not just what it is by itself. It encompasses other things to make it a formula. So it includes the law of use or the law of sowing and reaping. Those things are a part of the law of attraction. It's not about what it is by itself.
All right.
I
You want to
would
speak
say-
to?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I want to get Derek to speak to that, and then James, you can. I mean, Vulcan.
Yeah, we're living in a world, remember, where we change words to make it mean what we want it to mean. You remember when we were talking about tithing, and I was trying to make it clear that that has nothing to do with giving, but we have made it that. The law of attraction shouldn't even be called the law of attraction for the simple purpose that, just like Coach said, it is a process, and it's some individual processes that all must come together. And here's what's funny. Once you do all of those things, keyword do all of those things, and you get to the other side, now you're on stage going, I manifested this. No, you didn't. You did some specific things consistently, and these things happened. So
Let
I
me
think we're
piggyback on what Derek said right there, if I may.
yeah.
And I want to make his point crystal clear here,
Thank you, sir.
because the language there, I can see people that are proponents of the law of attraction may still be like, well, yeah, that's what we're saying. But what Derek's point is that whether you adhere to the law of attraction or even have the belief and the faith, whatever word they want to use, that they believe is necessary to accomplish the desired end, if you do those same actions as the person did believe, you have the same results. So you have person A that believes in the manifestation and does their affirmations and mantras and all that kind of stuff, right? And then they put things into action and they get their end result that they wanted, right? Then you have person B that didn't believe in manifestation, didn't think they were actually going to accomplish it, but they did the same exact things as person A. They're going to have the same goal as the person who did, quote unquote, have the manifestation thing, unless somebody disagrees with that.
But what
So
would you
you're
say?
saying,
Hold on, let Coach speak, and then Cam, you come in. Go ahead, Coach.
What would you say to the people that both did the same actions and one did not use the other process and they did not get the same results? Is that possible as well?
Yeah, but for me, I'll answer the question. So yes, I mean, because it obviously depends on what we're talking about. Something's going to be variable, like let's say the lottery. Both me and Derek can play the lottery. We do the exact same thing, and we both pick our favorite numbers. He picks his favorite numbers. He wins. I don't win. But that don't mean we can say that's because of the law of attraction. So I mean, it depends on situationally. But if he and I decide we're going to work out to bench 500 pounds, and he has a certain workout regimen, I have a workout regimen the same as him, and we have similar builds, and I don't believe I'm going to reach 500. But my trainer does, I don't believe I'm going to reach 500. Derek does believe he's going to reach 500. Both of us have the same regimen, and both of us reached that 500.
I have a story, and you can pull this up. There was a study done in a college. This was years ago. And the study was done with free throws. They took different groups of individuals, right? One group of individuals practiced shooting free throws physically. First, they tested them, their free throw percentage as it was. They had one group physically practice for a certain amount of time. They had another group only practice in their minds. Why did the group that practiced only in their minds achieve just as good, if not better, results than the ones that was practicing physically?
I think with that we're getting into a whole nother realm, and that realm is the subconscious. Because I'm very familiar with that story, and
Agreed.
it is
Agreed.
absolutely
And
but
that is
that's
that's
not a
part of the
matter.
formula of the law of attraction, the way that I
That's
teach it.
well, yeah, okay, but you're still saying formula. So it's almost like we got to get away from even calling it that. Maybe we ought to call it
You
the
know what? All right.
process of
So
attraction.
let's go back. Then what needs to be clear is when you say law of attraction, what exactly does that mean? What is the actual definition of law of attraction?
I wouldn't use those words to describe that process. I would say something totally different. They're like, look, are there things in your life that you want? And if a person says, yes, there's things in my life that I want, I'll say, well, look, you need to change the way you think about things so that you can get yourself in a position to do all of this, do
Right.
this, do this, do
Right.
this. So, go
so
ahead.
this is
Right.
reminding me of faith without work is dead. This is, I mean, we can go there with it, or we can go with the psychological effects or point of view I mean, I believe the mind is powerful, man. It's capable of some amazing things. I mean, that can go a whole somewhere totally different, man.
All right, so let me get these comments in. G said, "Talk that ish, Derek, aka Plies, hilarious." All right. So, Vulcan, I do want to ask the panel a question again. Did everybody explain how? Well, did Coach Andre and Cam explain how is a law, how law of attraction, how it is a law? What
I
makes it
don't
a law?
believe it in itself is a law. It encompasses other things that are laws.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and I would agree with that. It's like I would say the government is not a law, but the government has laws in it.
Mhm.
So I would agree with what Dre's saying right there. But so that's my point. Obviously, those of us who are in business and in sales and in psychology and know how to influence, we will more concrete, absolute language to convince mushy-headed people that this particular strategy works a lot more efficiently and readily than it really does. So if I say formula, if I say law, if I say these terms that give you absolute assurance, I can get your money. Come to my seminar because I'm going to tell you that this is a law, meaning it has to happen this way. This is a formula because we all learn mathematical formulas in school. We know what formulas are. So we know if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. That's a transitive property. That has to happen that way every single time. So that being the case, that's part of the issue why I would say it's evil, because those of us who understand how to use our words to convince people of things and be persuasive, we know how to use borrowed language that's a lot more definitive than what our actual philosophy is.
Yeah,
And
now you're
that's
talking about manipulation.
absolutely right. Manipulation. That's the terminology.
So is it
Well, hold on. Sorry, Cam.
non-existent? Is it deceptive, or is it just not a thing?
Well, let me say this right here. That's a good point. I want to say this right here because, I mean, I know Dre. I've heard his teachings on it, and this doesn't apply to him. But when you type up law of attraction gurus and teachers, their claims are not just reap what you sow. All of us on here would agree reap what you sow, right? That's common sense. But these guys will believe that, let's say, for instance, I believe that I'm gonna climb Mount Everest, right? And I don't tell anybody that I believe I'm gonna climb Mount Everest, right? And then I announce it one day. And then somebody out in Zimbabwe doesn't believe I can climb Mount Everest. They can block my ability to climb Mount Everest by their disbelief of me climbing Mount Everest. That's a part of the secret, the part of the law of attraction teaching. That's what we're not discussing. It's like when a Mormon missionary comes to your door and says, we believe in Jesus. Of course, we all agree on that part. But when they tell you that Jesus and Satan are brothers, or that Elohim has spirit babies, and that's how we ended up on Earth, where spirit babies, you know what I'm saying? The more outlandish claims, they don't discuss that up front.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is that law of attraction, not the brand that you particularly like because it sounds good to you, but law of attraction as it's taught in books, on college campuses and seminars, is what I'm defending against.
I can understand.
Law of attraction and manifestation, because to me they coincide. It's a philosophy. They're philosophies, right? So again, I mean, the definition is, positive thoughts bring positive results. Negative thoughts bring negative results. It's philosophy,
and that's not true.
Yeah.
That's the definition.
That's
That's
a
the definition of it.
generalization. That's a proverb or a truism. Like when the Bible says, "Money answers all things." Money doesn't literally answer all things. The Bible's saying it answers a lot of stuff, right? We understand that it's not to be 100%. It's a proverb. It's a truism. So in the same way, positive thinking is proven to help people accomplish things. We all know that. And negative thinking does the opposite, right? But you can think negative and get positive, and you can think positive and get negative, and we all know that.
Yeah.
But with no action, nothing happens.
Yeah, and if you think negative, you
But we
won't
can't change the subject. I want to change the subject to action. You were talking about thoughts and beliefs.
Well, I was just saying it's a philosophy.
So I don't want to shift to actions yet.
I'm saying it's a philosophy. It's not really like it's not. It's a, what do they say, a natural science, or like a what's the term? What's the term again?
Soft science. Soft science.
There
And
it
a
is.
hard science.
There it is.
Right now, I just want to, right quick, I want to, Vulcan mentioned the fallacy earlier. It's called the fallacy composition. The description interfering that something is true of the whole from the fact that is true of the sum, the part of the whole. This is the opposite of the fallacy of division. Logical form: A is part of B. A has the property of X. Therefore, B has the property of X. One of the examples they have is each brick in that building weighs less than a pound. Therefore, the building weighs less than a pound. All right. Let's get back to Derek. Do you want to add to that? I want to bring it back around.
That bro Vulcan be having
no,
that
I
fire,
think,
bro.
What about you, Coach? Got anything from what Vulcan was saying earlier?
I'm sorry.
I see. You got anything to speak on what Vulcan was saying earlier?
No, I agree with him.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, any closing statements, so we can definitely move on. I think
No,
we're.
Rose,
Yeah, we
thanks.
can move on.
My mind has changed,
I
bro.
think,
My
I
mind has
think, I
changed. I
think.
still think the philosophy
Here's my
does
Hold
make
closing
on.
sense,
Let
though.
coach got something. Go ahead.
I think what we have to do is understand when we say law of attraction, what exactly does that mean? Because it sounds like when I say it, it means something completely different from when somebody else says it. So, like in a lot of things, like for instance, today when we say dating, what does that mean? Because everybody's definition of dating is different now. So I think from now on, I'm going to be a little bit more clear. So I'm glad we're having a discussion that when somebody says law of attraction, well, what does that mean? What does that look like? What does that entail? That's
Definitely.
that's what comes to my mind after having this discussion.
So
I
so
I
yes,
got something you can use for that.
defining your terms. You said if you're going to use the term, you want to be able to define it, right?
Exactly.
All right, Vo, you got something to say to that?
I
I
think
was just
Derek. I
okay.
got the Derek.
Derek. All right, what's up, Derek?
I was just gonna say real quick that maybe this terminology would be perfect for that. Is the law of process. I mean, if
Mm.
you look at all of the processes to build a car, to start a BCR, to do all of that has a process that if you do these things and put them together this way, this can happen.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
that would make more sense than the esoteric thing of, the law of attraction.
Yeah,
I can dig it.
Let me get a comment in first. G said language can only be manipulative if you speak that language fluently. Uh, before Vulcan get in, Derek, do you want to explain why you think that's more appropriate than use the law of attraction, law of purpose? Can you
Because
explain?
when you think about what all the things that we said today in this arena, everything is a process. Even when you break it down to well, if you think positive, this will happen. If you think negative, this will happen. Vulcan just explained real clearly that person can think positive and still get negative, and you can think negative and still get positive. If we get away from that and look at the people that are using the term law of attraction, I'm manifesting this new house, this new woman, this new whatever. They all are doing a process to get that outcome. And so law of process would make more sense to me.
Vulcan?
Yeah, so I just want to say like why this is an important thing for me is just because so often I see it used in such cavalier ways, such haphazard ways, flippant ways that are not benign. It's not like, oh, we just can disagree on definition. I've told people, I've said things to people like, yeah, so and so sick. Don't say they're sick. You're going to speak it into existence. And it's like the Bible called people sick. They didn't shy from calling somebody sick. No, that's a leopard. That's a leopard. That's what it is. And so you see these extremes because, and the thing is, people like Dre and Cam, they're like, yeah, that's crazy. And I would agree. But the thing is, like, there are prominent people who teach it that way. Don't even say it. And so that's not what we learn from the Bible, and it's not logical either. And so that's why I've seen ladies say, I'm going to pray for a man who's, 6 foot with a six pack, with a six this, with a six figure this, and they got it on their vision board and they're believing it. And all the girls and the guys are telling them, if you believe in this law of attraction, this manifestation, and this name it, claim it, speak it into existence thing, it has to come back. It has to come back to you because we're borrowing such definitive language. So those of us who aren't as naturally critical, those of us who are going to be beguiled by the manipulative wording, who's going to speak on their behalf?
Well, let me ask the panel this question. I'm gonna start with Derek. And what's some of the dangers of believing in the law of attraction or practicing some of the law of attraction? What's some of the dangers? I'll
I
start
think
with Derek.
the biggest danger is you can make it an idol. You can make that whole phraseology, because to the person that doesn't know God, the law of attraction would tell you you don't need God. You could do it. You could manifest these things. You could do these things. And for me, that's why I said it's evil, because it can get a person that's maybe not clear in who God is. It could get them completely on the other side. And here's the crazy part. Boy, if they do what they're supposed to do, and they make these and these things come into their life, now they're on stage going, I did this without God. I manifested it.
Mm.
So yeah, it's problematic.
So essentially, the dangers, you start, I guess, worshiping yourself that you actually manifest it instead of coming from the
Yes.
higher
Yeah.
power. Okay.
Making it
Oh,
an idol.
Vulcan.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, before Vulcan, let's shout out to Help the Bear. Help the Bear said, "Your days are already numbered. My words ain't gonna hurt nobody." Shout out to Help the Bear. Desiree said, "It can become idolatry." Oh yeah, that's what Derek was saying. Boom, I like Derek. Got you a fan, Derek. It tells you. Oh, it tells what it said. It tells you you are in control. No doubt, no doubt. Not to mention, it opens a door to witchcraft. Hey, do y'all want to speak to that?
Well,
Well,
yeah, I was going to actually cover that. Excellent point, Desiree. I was going to cover that real briefly before we go into the next. We definitely got a lot more stuff to get into, so we can't spend much more time on this. But yes, it definitely opens a door to witchcraft, and I'll say it specifically in this way. How witchcraft works, and you see this with the movie "What's Love Got to Do with It?" with you know, what's the lady who never ages? Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett.
Num y'all, renegade y'all. The Bible talks people, saying mantras and say things over and over again. Those kind of things is witchcraft. That's sorcery. And so the thing is that when people are saying these affirmations and these manifestation words, quote unquote, speaking things into existence, what they're really doing is thinking that their words create this law that makes God have to do something. So God is obligated under these universal laws or whatever they want to call them that he has to do this, which takes God's sovereignty from him in this hypothetical world. Obviously, it doesn't take God's sovereignty in the real world. But if you think that if I say this, God has to do this, the universe has to bring this, you're saying that your words makes God your puppet. When the Bible says that God maintains his autonomy, the Bible talks. There's a scripture that says that a man orders a step. A man may make plans, but God orders his steps. And the last one I'll say is in the book of James, where it says that don't be like the arrogant businessman who says tomorrow I will go do this or I will go do that, but say if the Lord wills. It's a sign of arrogance, haughtiness to say I know I can. This is gonna happen for sure. We cannot turn one hair on our head gray or whatever color it says. So we don't have that kind of ability or that power. It's the Lord wills at the end of the day. And we have to maintain that. Or we will be in idolatry, as Desiree said.
So real quick, so basically what you're saying, and I agree now, I agree. So we're not wanting to replace manifestation with praying,
Yes.
right? And
We
I
want to
can totally
with
get down
praying.
with that. I can
Praying
totally get
meaning
down with that.
praying meaning that Paul said, I pray that this thorn on my side be removed. And the Lord said, my grace is sufficient for you. Meaning, it's gonna stay there. You don't think Paul believed that God could have did it? Of course he did it. But
No,
God said, I got a different plan for you.
This
but
stuff, this
Vulcan, my
stuff, this
point
stuff.
was, I'm not. You just arguing for argument's sake, bro. What I was saying, what I was
Are
just
we
saying,
arguing? I don't know. I don't know if we're arguing. I thought we were on the same
I was
page.
just no. You're right. All I was saying was I agree now because again, we don't want to confuse manifestation and the law of attraction with praying. We don't want to confuse the two. We're replacement with the other, making it idolatry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
because
I know.
that's what
praying
I'm
is what
saying.
Christians do, and mantras and speaking to existence is what pagans do.
Mm. Well, yeah, good stuff. I want to welcome
I'm with it.
Dropping
Let's
Jewels
move on.
podcast. Dropping Jewels podcast. How you doing? Welcome to the platform. Glad to have you. You muted if you trying to say anything. Still can't hear you. Let's move on to Coach. Coach, you got anything you want to say to what Vulcan just said?
Nah. I mean, I have a little bit of rebuttal, but I do, but I don't want to get too much into it, man. I'll just say this: God gives us the power to create. I'm gonna give you the intro to my poem, and I'll leave it at that. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God because God was the Word. Then that Word became flesh, so we could live by what we've heard. Out of the darkness he formed light from the words from which he said, let there be, and there was creation from words in his head. and he gave that same power to everyone, including me, so that with my mouth I could create what I am to be. So with that said, I speak life over every situation. I am what I say, and I say what I am through the power of these declarations.
Okay, Vulcan, you want to speak to that? And I'm gonna go with Derek. I'm gonna pop off for a few minutes. Vulcan, then
God
Derek.
created with his words. He gave that same power to us.
Oh,
You're
you
mute,
muted. You
Vulcan.
muted. And Derek, you after him. I'm about to hop off for a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love. I wish you would have changed the question before you hopped off, but I would love if we could really get into the boundaries, the actual rules of law of attraction. I've been at work and I heard people say something like, don't say this, or somebody will be like, hey, I can't go there tomorrow. I got something I got to do. I'm like, don't you believe in manifestation? Can't you manifest it? Well, I'll be at work. Well, can't you manifest your two places at one time? That's silly. You can't do that. Okay, so that's a rule of manifestation. So it's okay. Like you'll say, hey, look, something happened in the past. Can you manifest things retroactively in the past? I remember a guy from my church way back in the day. This is probably over 10 years ago. He had a baby with a lady, and he was like, James, pray that baby's not mine. that baby has DNA already. So those who believe in this unlimited ability of manifestation, can I retroactively manifest the DNA change in the baby's body to not be my baby? Or is that silly? And if it's silly, why? Where does it say that? Where is this written out? Who knows where it's silly that I can't retroactively use manifestation?
Well, if you look into, again, this is just a philosophy, bro. This is a soft science. But they say there are 7 rules, 7 laws of attraction. I can't get into them all, but
Can you
there
get into
are a
one?
set of
I'm
rules
still
or
waiting to hear a law. I
boundaries.
haven't heard a law yet.
There are 7. Like I said, there are 7 of them.
Can I hear one?
Sure. Hold on a second.
Okay, so
Why is doing that? You got anything else you want to add? And then Derek, and then
well, I don't know if you could put the definition of law on the screen. That'd be helpful.
yes, sir.
Okay. Vulcan.
Yes, sir. Yes, you gonna read the comments here?
we have.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
You ready for it? Okay. So, the law of magnetism. And again, I'm not with the law of attraction, bro. I'm not with it.
Oh, then forget it. Then never mind.
Yeah,
You're not with
yeah.
it. Yeah.
But I'm just saying the law of magnetism.
No. It's okay. We don't got to go into it. I don't want to be stuck debating a point that you don't even believe in. You know what I'm saying?
I told you I could understand the perspective of it, but
both of us.
As far as being good or evil, I can see how it can be used as evil. It could replace prayer with idolatry, but also I can see if you can pull something positive out of it,
I
without
understand.
losing yourself.
Yeah,
then
I understand flat earthers. You look and the earth looks flat. I can understand it.
Bro, stop it.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, understanding it just means I can see why somebody would think that way. Right? That's what you're basically saying, right? Yeah, that's all I'm saying. So we got some comments. You gonna read them? You want me to read them?
Yeah, let's. Oh yeah. I'm back on. Let me get these comments in. We definitely appreciate y'all participation. Well, I don't know where we left off at. Yeah,
okay, just start somewhere.
Our world is framed by our words. Y'all want to speak to that? Quick.
I don't mind speaking to it if somebody else wants to go.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll go then. To some extent, obviously, on the small scale, our words. I mean, I get paid off my words. So I mean, in a lot of ways, I teach my team. You get paid off your words. Your words are your reality when you're dealing with a client. So I know a lot of us on here that are in sales and entrepreneurship and business. We all agree with that to some extent. But in reality, our world is shaped by what God has ordained for us. completely apart from our words. Ask Nebuchadnezzar. Ask
All right.
Abimelech. Ask Abimelech when he was trying to take Abraham's wife. Ask Paul when he said, "Let this thorn be removed from my side." Ask the rich man when he was asking to have his tongue dipped in that cool water to ease his tongue because he's anguish in the flame. So I definitely agree on the micro level in a lot of ways, but we just can't teach it in a very haphazard way because it's going to mislead people. Because our words are nothing in comparison to what God has already ordained for our lives. And at times, many times, the two will conflict, and God's going to win.
All right. Before I go around the panel, let's get the definition up here from the Encyclopedia: Laws and Discipline and Profession concerned with custom, practice, and rules of conduct of a community that are recognized as binding by the community, enforcement of the body of rules through a controlling authority. Anybody want to speak to that? Let's start with
Yes.
Go ahead.
all right,
We don't got to get to the next question.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
Matter
that
of
I think
fact,
we do. But
Can we,
real quick,
did we get through all
hold
the
on for a
comments
minute. Let
already?
me finish. Let me get the comments in because
Yeah, let's get
I
all the
want to catch
comments, and
up
we
with the
probably
comments.
got to move on.
G said we can go back and we can answer some of these comments. G says, "Is Berman, aka the #1 stunner, a warlock of rapping his success into fruition?" Good question. Good question. Desiree said it's like if somebody says I get I get sick every year at Christmas, universal law would make it happen. Interesting.
We'll
Interesting.
make it happen sometimes, maybe even oftentimes, but not all the time. And we just
Okay.
have to make sure the audience that we're speaking to, because teachers will undergo a stricter judgment. We have to be wordsmiths. We have to know how to use our words in a way to disseminate truth that's not going to beguile or mislead those of us who aren't as intellectually astute and erudite.
Okay. She also says the law of cause and effect. Not sure what that referring to. Lord equals law equals ruler. She also says anything from God can and will be perverted because this word is ruled by Satan. Help the bear. I ain't seen you. I was wondering where you was at. Law now one. What is this? Dot the system of rules in a particular country and community recognizes. Oh, okay. You was getting definite. Shout out to you as the regulated actions of the members in which it may enforce by the imposition of penalties. Shout out. Appreciate that. A rule defining correct procedure or behavior in sport. Finishing up with the definition. Appreciate the help the bear. Desiree said, "No love, that's biblical. LOL. The Lord said, open your mouth and I will fill it." Interesting. Uh, Help the Bear also says, systems of law subject to study, the basis of legal profession. Appreciate that. Help the Bear. Desiree said, I'm going to have to teach it. I have to teach it on it. I guess I have to teach on it. All right. I'm happy, but sometimes I'm sad. All right. Anybody want to?
Hey, Vulcan, I know you want to move on. I just want to say 20 seconds. I want to kind of give a little quick food for thought for
Yes, sir.
with
Go ahead.
what Coach said.
here we go. 20 seconds.
We don't have the power in our words to move anything without God being the controller behind it. I don't know of anybody in the Bible that used their words and made something happen that wasn't either by the Spirit of God or the spirit of or the spirit of evil spirits. So for to say that we are doing it because God did it, we can't prove that.
All right. All right. So let's go around the room. Concise, give our final statements. We're going to move on. Keep it concise, short, and sweet. Derek started off with his. Let's go with Cam, Coach, and then Vulcan. And then we're going to go to the next topic, y'all. Concise.
I don't have any rebuttals, man. Again, law as far as law is concerned, again, it's who's imposing, who's enforcing, what are their perspectives, and again, who says what. I mean, if we're talking about God, obviously that's there's, but still, it's sovereignty. But still, man, as far as laws, man, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and
Yeah.
on. So
Thank you.
I'm gonna just
Like I
skip.
said,
I'm gonna
concise.
just, you know.
All right. All right. Coach,
What?
final statements.
Yeah,
About to move on to the next topic.
We kind of switched, and then we kind of came back to it. Where are we right now?
Just this final statements on the topic as far as law being the
No,
force of good evil.
I'm gonna let it be. I'm gonna let it
All
be.
right, all right. Let's go to Vulcan. Concise, keep it short and sweet. We go to the next topic. While he's doing that, help the bear said, shout out to Derek, aka Suge Knight, hilarious. All right, Vulcan. All right, we're just gonna move on. All right, so the next topic, I think Vulcan spoke enough on this topic. Are you muted, by the way, Vulcan? Next time we're
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
do a
say this
race.
last little thing. I'm about to type it in the chat, but I'll just go ahead and say it. You know,
All right.
one thing I didn't want to get too deep into is that, you know, Proverbs 28 that says that anybody that hears the law of God and turns their ear, even their prayer is an abomination. So I want people to understand, if you're not actually living a Christian life, walking in salvation, I'm not calling anybody, I'm not judging, I'm just saying what the text actually literally says. Anybody that hears the law of God and turns their ear, you're living a sinful lifestyle. You're not practicing righteousness. If you're
What was
hear the
that?
law and you turn your ear, it says even your prayer is an abomination. So when you're
Proverbs
speaking to
what?
the masses, and telling them, you're speaking to the masses and telling
Hold
them
on, Cam.
that,
What?
yeah, when you're speaking to the mass and you're telling them, you know, you can manifest this with your words and you can pray, speak these and the things, that doesn't even apply to most people. Think about it. It says narrow is the way and few will enter. That's a small percentage. Most people that we're talking that they can speak these into existence through God or the universe, that even apply to them statistically speaking. One thing we got to do as the Black community, we got to get better at math because we're not very good at STEM. And a lot of this stuff will make more sense to us because we're telling a mass of people they can speak these things and these things happen. When the Bible says if you're not even living that life, your prayer is an abomination. Not your prayers are not heard. I want to make that distinction. Not that your prayers aren't heard. It's an abomination. It's offensive to God. So I just wanted that to be known. We're way off base with this stuff. We're way off base, y'all.
All right, all right. So next topic we're going.
But before you do that, Enos told me to be quiet. Basically, I was asking. I was asking
Yeah, background
Vulcan.
noises. Yeah,
I was
concise stuff.
asking. I was asking Vulcan. What was that? Proverbs what?
28. You're
You
on
muted.
mute.
Go ahead, there. You can ask.
28:9. Sorry about that.
All right. So the next topic we're going to deal is a race topic,
Ooh.
requested topic. Got a question. Why do black men date out their race the most? Why do black men date out their race the most outside their race? I'm gonna go ahead and start with Derek. Then we go to Coach and then Cam and then Vulcan. Start with Derek.
Well, I am so conflicted on this because I think people um, just like what they like. Now, if we're dissecting into this, you know, why do black men date outside their race? Where I'm one of them. For me, it's I like what I like. I'm attracted to what I'm attracted to. I don't look at it like, well, she's black, I'm not gonna date her. I look at it like this is what I'm attracted to. This is what I like. But if I were to give the reason, if I were to give the reason why black men date outside or date women that are not black, because we're one race, human race. If the reason is this, if you look at the black community and you compare the women compared to all the other women, statistically, I'm not talking about your cousin, that's the opposite of this, but statistically, they're the most masculine of all of the races. And if you got a guy who can have a pretty sister or a pretty Latina, and one is sweet, calm, and reveres the guy, and the other one is controlling and what's the word, entitled and masculine, and that has become the culture, you're going to see way more black guys get away from that. And
Okay.
that's just a small sample size of why you may see it so much.
So one of the reasons because black women might be overly masculine, right? One of the
Mm-hmm.
reasons. All right, let's go with Coach.
I agree. I was gonna say that anyway. That and the simple fact that black women
Oh,
are the strongest women on this planet. So it takes a strong man to be able to be with a strong woman. And honestly, a lot of our black men out here are weak. They don't have the strength to deal with the strong black women because the roles have been reversed because for so long, so many of our women had to become the male, the leader in the household. Not, I shouldn't say the male, but the leader of the household because there was no man there. So they've had to assume the role, assume the responsibility because they didn't have a chance to rest in their femininity because they had to raise the kids and take care of home because dad's not there. So with that being said, we're not stepping up into our role. So our women are having to do that for us. And a lot of men they're not healed enough. They don't have the security to be able to handle what a black woman is. So I agree with what he's saying.
All right, before I get to Cam, I want to ask a question this quick. You're gonna do yes or no. Do y'all think that black men date outside their race more than other races? Just quick, let's go around the room. Let's get Derek. Do
Yes.
you agree?
Yes.
Andre, Coach,
If I had to say, I'll say yes. I'll say
say yes.
yes.
Okay, so 2 yeses. Cam,
What am I answering? I didn't answer the first one yet. What am I
and do
answering?
you agree that a black men date outside their race than other races? Men, black men date
I
outside.
think that we date with the intent to marry outside of their race, yes, but I think other races fetishize black women a lot.
But
Like I
but
think
fetish out, but actually date. Do you think black men do it more than other ethnicities?
yes, yes.
Okay. Vulcan.
So yes, I would definitely say that black men date outside the race the most. Now, all races. I don't believe in race for I would say ethnicities or whatever the case may be.
Well, I
But
was gonna
just
get you to explain. I wanted Cam to
okay,
explain,
okay,
and then we're gonna
sorry.
go to you. I just want to make sure everybody answer that question. Do we all agree that black men date outside the race more than other men, uh, other races? So, Cam, do you want to explain why? Because we got Coach, we got Derek. What's your reasons why black men do it the most?
I would have to agree with those who have been said before me, and also as far as why women. I mean, but there's a reason why black women had to be more masculine or
Absolutely.
take up that role. We
Oh
could
yeah,
go into
slavery.
black men were systemically removed
Yeah.
from the household for
Oh yeah.
specific reasons, right?
Oh yeah.
Uh, so I would go there. That's I like what I like, that too. And basically, man, the entitlement, man, man, you got to be, it's like you have to make six figures. You have to be 6'5". You have to, to date a black woman. It's just and what I've seen, you know, that's
Mm.
just what I've seen.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take it to vote. I'm gonna give my 2 cents on it. Statistically, I believe there's a lot of studies, a lot of research that suggested this. Black men are the second most attracted men in the world, so it makes sense if men, if they're the most attractive men, second most attractive behind white men, that means they have more options. So if you have more options, you will. I guess I can give an analogy. We live in America, so we have a lot of choices to do what we want to do. So if you like Chinese food, you can. If you don't want Chinese one, you can go to a Mexican restaurant. Another day, you could go to uh, get some food at a grocery store. Not to compare restaurants or food to women. I want to emphasize options. When you have options, people tend to explore those options. So that's my reason why black men might, you know, explore the option why date outside the race. All right, we're gonna go with Vulcan.
Question is, why do black men do it?
Yes, sir. Let me pull it back
Why do
up.
black men date outside their race more than other races? So I want to first start off by saying this: that all quote unquote races primarily date their own race,
Hmm.
statistically speaking. Now, the younger the generation within the black, and I want to make a distinction also. When we say black, it's a little misleading because you got to make a distinction between African Americans and, like, say, Nigerians and people like that. So, African American men date outside their race the most.
Hmm.
And so what happens is, going to the point we're talking about earlier, I want to address the fetishizing thing first, so I'm trying to make sure I don't forget that point. But yeah, so why do African American men do it? There's a number of factors. One, the average black woman weighs 187 pounds. That's more than the average man.
So you said
that
why
affects,
it's the weight.
huh? That's one of the reasons is the weight. Uh,
You have something, Cam?
most
Yeah.
times,
Real quick, Vulcan. I gotta go back. I have to go back. You said black and African American. Are you black or you African American?
He was
it
talking about
depends
Nigerian.
how are you defining it.
I'm black. I'm not African American.
Yeah, I think Akeem Olajuwon is African American.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. So what I mean is those whose culture is indigenous to America for the last several hundred years, American blacks, we can call it, or foundational blacks, as Tariq Nasheed would call it, right? I'm saying that's a different climate than a Nigerian or somebody from the Congo. They're different cultures. We look similar, but we're different cultures. So what I'm saying is that, and we don't move the same. And so I'm saying that the African or foundational Black American, whatever you want to call them, those guys tend to date more outside of the race than everybody else. But statistically speaking, all quote unquote ethnicities and or races date within their race the most. Black African Americans just date outside the most. One is weight. That's one of the factors. Another one is because, like as you know, said, African American men are one of the most sought after. According to statistics, Asian Americans least sought after. Asian American men least sought after. African American women, are one of the least sought after. If you go to places that make their money off of sexual appeal, be it strip clubs, certain types of bars and clubs, you know, like some of the most popular clubs out here where I live, the bottle girls are light complected or non-black. I mean the top spots. I don't mean the mid-tier spots. I mean the top spots. I know that because one of the guys who
Gold diggers.
Yeah, one of the guys who's well, I know that I've been to these places. You know, even if you talk about places like where they do exotic dancing, I've talked to ladies who work there. They have limits on how many black women can work at these places if it's not a black exotic dance spot.
Wow, interesting.
Black women, and so when somebody says black women are fetishized, yeah, attractive women are fetishized. We know that. Attractive women are fetishized because men are going to be men. But statistically speaking, they're not as sought after and culturally speaking. This is not my opinion or my preference either, y'all. I'm just telling you what the studies show.
Let me read some of these comments. Let me
We
read
laughing
some
at
of
the
these
comments,
comments.
bro. Not you, Vulcan. We laughing at the comments, bro.
Let me read some of the comments. Help the Ben said, "My brothers, you need not to worry about other women outside your race." Dr. Umar, shout out to Dr. Umar, man.
Yeah.
And then that said, so we are fat and y'all are too attractive for us. Got it. Insert eye roll. Oh man. I help the Ben said, I love a woman with birth giving hips. Vulcan. All right. So, and do any of y'all want to speak to what Vulcan is as far as black women?
I want to address the comments, but if somebody else wants to speak, they can go ahead.
Which one?
Cam, your audio's audioing again. But yeah, so I do want to speak to the comments a little bit here.
Which one?
Specifically the one about us being, fat and y'all are too attractive for us. It's not so much that, and ladies can attest to this. Women, not all, but most, typically want a man that's bigger than them, definitely taller, and some will even say they want a man who's bigger than them. I've heard some go as far as say, I want to be the hide in him. That's not all women though. Some women don't care at all. But statistically speaking, that's important, especially the height thing. Conversely, men tend to be the opposite. That's why it fits like a puzzle piece, right? If I want somebody tall and she wants somebody tall, what are we gonna do? I gotta want somebody short, and she's gotta want somebody tall. And hey, we're a pair made in the heavens.
All right, let's
So if a
bring
woman's 187 pounds and the average man weighs less than 187 pounds, certain certain demographics of guys don't get super tall. So they don't want a woman bigger than them.
hold on, Vulcan. She said thanks for speaking for women.
We're speaking from statistics. Come on, Angela.
Go ahead, Darren. You want to respond to that? And I'm gonna get Coach in here.
The one thing we can't do, and I gotta watch how I say this. Listen to what he's saying. The key word in everything he said is statistically. We're going with what is most. We're not going with you may be a very attractive woman that doesn't weigh 187 pounds. We're talking statistically, these numbers are what they are.
She got another question. She 187 doesn't look the same on everyone.
Now this is the thing about her point. This is the thing about her point. I agree with her, but the thing is, again, if you get 187 pound women in a room, statistically speaking, it's not going to look good on most of them. That's the reality. So when you're competing against Asian, Middle Eastern, African, all the other women who are smaller than you, you're gonna lose that battle in the marketplace of romance a lot of the time, not all of the time.
Hello, Antoinette. You got to keep in mind the average weight is for black women are 182, 87 pounds. Keep in mind the average height for a black woman, I think, is 5'3" to 5'4". Don't quote me on that. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna go with Coach, and then I'm gonna read another comment. Internet, she says 187 doesn't mean they are bigger than the man. So are we being precise or what? Derek, you want to answer that? Oh, wait a minute, Coach. I want to get Coach.
Okay.
Coach, you want to answer that?
What am I answering? Because I gave my response earlier. I do agree. That's an interesting point. I never thought about the weight, but I can definitely see that from what James Welcome was talking about. Because I know I don't even want to see anybody that weighs more than me. It ain't gonna work. If you don't work out, we can't work out.
Hey, bro, I don't think we gonna make it.
She said she
I'm supposed to meet with somebody for the first time this week. Our first hangout is to the gym. You know what I'm saying? I love that. So that's interesting. I didn't think about it, but I can definitely see it.
Yeah, to that, the average height of a black woman is between, I think, 5'2", 5'3", maybe 5'4", and the average weight for a black woman is 187, 85, 180. Let's just say to be safe, 180 pounds.
186.1.
Oh, 186.1.
I was 178. I was 170 at 6'2".
That's with no clothes, man.
Say that again. I don't think everybody heard you, Coach. Say it again.
I was 170, 175 at 6'2". You're saying the average is 187 at 5'3"? Yeah, that's not a good look, dog.
Help the Bears said, look, man, 187 is a big body Benz. Okay. Hey, whatever floats your boat. All right. So Internet said, thank you. So just to exclude the average woman. Oh, okay. Y'all want to speak to that? She's saying exclude the average woman.
Just one more thing, though.
I want to speak to that real quick. I want to speak to what you just said.
All right.
So the average woman, and trust me, I know you're having fun.
That's funny. She talking to you, Andre. Andre, she said, "Get your weight up, bro. Get your weight up,
bro."
Well, I'm talking about when I was younger, not now. But I agree with you. I did get my weight up. I'm 210 now, so I'm good.
and I'm overweight because I'm not 6'2", and I'm like 210 right now. So I got to step my game up. And Dre bring it up. And every time Dre sees me, he's bringing it up.
I'm solid.
Yeah. So, but I want to address the other part of it too. Is that the average woman? So again, it's not the average woman. Now, the average woman is 170 pounds. The average black woman's 187. I rest my case.
And real quick, these are all stats. Now they're saying that most women prefer white men except black women. And here we go with my last stat is Less than 4% of people think that interracial marriage is a bad idea.
Less than 4%.
And today, because that's so different, I think she's referring to Jay as the average woman is 170 pounds, and black woman is not far from that, 180. I think she's
Yeah,
responding
you're
to
making
that.
enemies, bro, with the weight
Hey,
comment,
look,
dog.
17 pounds.
But
Hey,
She's making enemies.
when you talk about a
17
woman's weight,
pounds.
if you talk about a woman's weight and hair, it's gonna be some problems. You know that.
Losing
Yeah,
battle. Because
17
women will lie to
pounds
each other.
is 2 weight classes. That's how big of a deal it is in boxing and the UFC.
She said, "That's that." Okay, right. All right. So yeah, that's the like I said. This topic we're dealing with, different variety of subjects, and dealing with Black Americans. Dating was the first topic that we covered. The next, you know what? Let's just pivot and take it another direction. Let me get y'all thoughts on this. Hold on, we got some more questions or statements. I wouldn't have had an issue if he just said over if he just said overweight or unhealthy. Oh, the way it's the words. The words he's using, huh? All right, the precise number though. All right, quote stats. That's how you got to do when you quote stats. All right, so all right, question dealing with black culture. Oh,
Why is this written in Elizabethan English right here? I can't even read.
yeah, I gotta talk to the staff about this, man. It's too late to change it. Yo, all right, so hold on for a minute. Just bear with me, y'all.
All right, well, just cut me off whenever you're ready.
All right.
So going back to
I
the
think
other
this
thing. So yeah, so as far as going back to the men dating outside of the African American men dating outside the race, we missed a whole lot of topics as far as like getting to the attitude and the boss chick and the black girl magic and all
Can't tell
of
her
that.
nothing.
So that's
And
one
they
thing.
call that strong. It's like
My
don't
brother,
nobody want to do that.
just had a baby with a Hispanic woman. He's now 34. I've never seen with a black woman. And when I ask him why, that's his response.
Yep. Again, one thing I try to share with men and what ladies and gentlemen is that it's meant to be opposites attract. So if I'm strong, you're soft. If I'm assertive, you're demure. If I'm bombastic, you're more nurturing and peaceful.
Mhm.
In the
All
black
right.
community, we've flipped that upside down to where we got a battle. So who's going to be the big personality in the room?
Yeah. You hear
So
phrases like
that's
"you
a
can't handle
good
me."
segue. Let's get into relationships. Good segue. Let's get into relationships, y'all. I got a question. Why do we have double standards in romance?
Ooh, coach, teacher, can I go? No.
Why do we have double standards in romance? Let's start with coach.
Because men and women view things differently and don't understand that we do. Like, for instance, sex. Oftentimes, a woman wants sex because they want the man. A man wants sex because he wants sex.
Mm.
It's not viewed the same.
Yeah.
Same action, different intention. So we view things from a different perspective, and we don't understand why things are looked at one way when we're dealing with two different sexes. When we get on the same page and understand that we view things from a different perspective, we think more logical, they think more emotional. And when we can learn how to communicate, we can change that. But we don't communicate well as it is.
Yep.
As a whole.
What you got on it, Derek?
Well, I I think when we're dealing with romance,
Why do we
I
have
think
double
I think
standards in
women I think
romance?
women may struggle with this more than men because men think more logically, but they look at it like it's symmetrical, and it's an asymmetrical process. I don't what women if you ask the average woman what they think a man thinks about as far as romance, it's probably completely the opposite. And so I think the double standard is there are more women that think they know what we want because you'll hear them say all the time, "Well, don't you want a woman that's a boss? Don't you want a woman that's this?" No, it's like, no, because the king will marry a peasant and make her queen, but the queen is never going to take a peasant and make him king. So it's an asymmetrical process that this culture is not. They don't understand it.
Let me ask you, Derek, how are some ways, I guess give some examples that men probably think more logical than women, because I heard
Okay,
some people. Yeah, go ahead.
here's a logical one. If a man gives what his preference is, I want this. I like a woman that looks like this. I like a woman that smells nice. I like a woman that's nice, that's submissive, and I give my preferences. Well, if the woman is not that, she'll take offense to it.
Yep.
But if a woman says to a man, "Hey, I don't like dudes that are 5'5," the man will go, "I get it. Okay, that's your preference. That's your preference. Keep it moving. Go find what you want." But when it's flipped, like we're talking about with the 187, if I
Yep.
say, look, I have some large women in my family. I would never date it. Why is that mean? It's not mean. It's my preference. And
Yep.
so I think that's where that I think the understand I think men are logic in that we accept your preferences, but y'all don't accept ours.
Yeah.
I had to ask that because nowadays you hear a lot of women say they more logical than men. I'm gonna get Kelman. I'm gonna read this comment. I'm gonna read this comment. Get him, Coach. Shout out to Coach. Yeah, I'm here for the good time, not for a long time. I hope you guys. No, I hope you got yours because I'm done already. All right, all right, Kev. What you think?
I,
Why do you think
man,
we have
I
double
agree
standards in
wholeheartedly with
romance?
these two gentlemen said, man. I just agree as far as we had different perspectives, man, and we look at things differently. And I saw something, man, that said, man, you know, men aren't loved unconditionally. There are always conditions, right? But women and children always are loved unconditionally, but we don't get loved conditionally,
That's right.
unconditionally. Excuse me. And also, again, we different perspectives. It's just we think differently. We're different creatures. We're not meant to think the same. So
Yeah. Thank goodness.
All right, what you got on this vocal?
What's the question?
Question is why do we have double standards in romance?
Well, the simple answer, we don't. And this is where we need to get into understanding what words mean. A double standard is when one standard giver gives two standards to people in the same situation. Women give men standards. Men give women standards. It's only one standard is being thrown in that direction. It's not a double standard. If I'm a parent and I tell my daughter one thing and my son one thing, that's a double standard, whether it's right or wrong. If
Mm.
if the substitute teacher gives the kids one standard and the main teacher gives the kids a different standard, it's not a double standard. It's two different standard givers. That's consistent. We use words so loosely because we don't think about what words mean and what phrases mean. We just haphazardly throw things around. So there's no double standards. So that's how I answer that
Yeah.
question. That's why there's no double standards, because it's two different people giving standards to the opposite sex.
All right, so let me read the definition before we go to anybody that wants to rebuttal or add on to what Vulcan is saying. A situation in which two people, groups, etc., are treated very differently from each other in a way that is unfair to one of them. All right, so anybody want to speak to what Vulcan just said as far as there's no double standards in the relationship?
When you break it down like that, I mean that makes sense. So we do that with a lot of stuff. We'll just take words, and if you say it enough, everybody will accept it as it is. And then all of a sudden, somebody will make a TikTok 10 years from now, and they'll say, "Hey, did you know that a double standard is not a double standard? It's really two," you know. And then we
Yeah.
go, "Oh yeah, I never thought of that." So
Wow.
Vulcan is an outside the box critical thinker. I love it. Love it.
I'm gonna get Coach.
I always say it's my gift and my curse.
Yeah.
I want to
And
get
Derek seen it firsthand. You know.
I want to get Coach in this, but I'm gonna read some more comments. Help the Bear said, "Women weren't created to think." Wow, trying to get us canceled. Quoted from a guy I know. He said, "Some guy, you know. You sure it's not somebody you seen in the mirror?" All right, Jonathan Flowers say, "Yow." Oh, how do you pronounce that? Jonathan Flowers said, "Hmm."
Mm.
All right, so look, we're gonna like I said earlier, we was gonna touch on. We talked about
Yeah,
black.
sorry. Hey, real quick, because you see this all the time. Remember how, and when you were kids, you might try to play the mom and dad. My mom said this, "I'm not your mama." Basically, the kid's trying to accuse the parent of a double standard, and the parent goes, "I'm not your mama." That's what she says. I'm saying this. Not
Hilarious.
a double standard.
Of the Bear said that dad laugh Vulcan is hilarious. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, still on to the next topic, black culture. Black culture. Got a question. Is hip hop more of a force for good or evil?
Evil. Sorry.
Who said that? That was quick. Who
My
said
bad.
that?
My bad. This coach, bro.
Oh, that's Coach. Okay. Coach said Coach said he says evil. All right, Derek,
Evil.
evil too. I'm gonna bring Cam back in here. Cam, you saw the question?
Evil.
Evil. Oh, okay.
Now,
Wow.
now, now. Back
All
in the
right.
G, Rakim, Karis One, Public Enemy, good. Now,
Evil.
Poison.
Okay. Vulcan, you muted. Is hip hop more of a force for good or evil?
Again, I just want to remind the audience about the composition, and I think it was the division fallacy, which is the opposite of that one. But the reality is that obviously there's things within hip hop that are good, but as a whole, I'd say hip hop is a force for evil.
Wow. Wow. Coach, I don't know if you're still here. Go
I'm still
ahead.
here,
Use
man.
use the first one to speak. Go ahead. Touch on this, man. Let us know why. Why is it a force for
Bro,
evil?
I can speak for an hour on this one, bro. I'll just say this: everything is spiritual, including music. Everything that God made, He made for His good, and He made to glorify Him. If it does not glorify Him, what is it? Most of the music, all of hip hop, does not glorify God. So what does it glorify? There's only two spirits. It doesn't glorify the spirit of God, then it's glorifying a different spirit.
Mm.
Figure it out.
Wow. Wow. So Derek.
Yeah, we know who the leader of music in this world is. I mean, that's what he was in heaven before he got kicked out. And he's down here wreaking havoc on the world and making it normal. I mean, hip hop is you're taking your struggle, your weed game, your drug game, your gun game, your hate game, your abuse against women. You're taking all of that and putting a bad beat to it, and we just accept it. We just accept it. We just go with it. But when you break down what music is, and I mean, Coach couldn't have said it any better. I mean, we are dealing with spirits on that front, and it ain't good.
Speak on it.
I want to rap though. I'm got me in my head now. No, I'm just kidding.
Go ahead, spit some bars. What's up, Cal? What you got?
Man, I can go on and on about, again, man, I can go on and on and on and on. In the military, I was military intelligence. Where I was in the military intelligence. We deal with a lot of different things, man. And there's this project called MK Ultra. Do some research about that. But music now is it can be mind control. Again, it's not glorifying God. And you're intaking all these spirits, man, with this rap music, just like sex, with your partner. You're intaking these spirits, man, these demons, and it's just, yeah. I can go on and on and on. Like Coach said, I can go on and on and on.
I definitely could see the mind control. I agree with that. I've seen some studies or some people online did some comparisons, and
Hmm.
it's definitely you could definitely see some similarities. One of the reasons I guess I could give my 2 cents. Definitely a force of evil. I mean, if you just evaluate it, I think the 50 years of hip hop was this year or last year. I've been keeping up on it, but if you just ask yourself, and within 50 years, how much good has it done to our community, the Black community? That, it's not even close as far as the positive benefits. I guess the people that's participated in it financially, a small group that actually was able to benefit from the culture, hip hop culture. But if you had to put it on a scale or a double beam scale, it did more harm than actually good.
Yeah.
Vulcan, you want to speak to that?
I think y'all
Go
covered
ahead.
everything really well. I mean, I just want to highlight what you said just some more so the audience hears it emphasized, which is the small scale. People will say, look at all the black millionaires and thousandaires that have been created by hip hop. Again, that's a very small percentage of the the black population that have benefited in that way. The larger population are those who have assimilated into that particular culture and now walk around imposing all the atrocities of that culture on the common person every day. So that's the
Mm,
larger percent of the population.
That's the
yes.
thing, though. I mean, you could say a small portion benefited financially, but at what expense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's his point.
Poisoning
yeah.
the minds of so many of millions of individuals at the same time. Was that really worth it?
Mm,
Hmm.
Do
okay.
y'all know what's going on with D1 right now?
I don't believe
Not
so.
Or this, you should really look into the rapper D1 and see what's going on with him right now. Right now, he is challenging and he is holding accountable these rappers that are about this gangster rap. And he's been on so many platforms. Joe Budden has came for him. Rick Ross has came for him.
Jim
Meek Mill.
Jones. Yeah,
mm,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Because he's challenging these rappers and holding them accountable for the content that's in their music. And it's very interesting to see their
Hypocrisy.
feedback.
well, I guess I want to go around and run this quick answers, concise answers. If y'all want to give some examples of how it's been more of a force for evil than good. Let's start with Cam, Derek, and on Coach Vulcan. If y'all can give some examples, quick answers
Well, I mean, again,
of
it's
how.
romanticizing and glorifying negativity. It's highlighting drug use, weapons, killing ourselves, self hate, the abuse of women, all the above. I don't think I have to quote lyrics for you to know that, So, and
Mhm.
not just rap. It's now it's even like the singers are even just as bad as rap now, you know.
Okay. Yep.
This is explicit as rap now. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Derek.
I mean, I echo what they said, man. I mean, it's there's nothing. Those of us that are spiritual minded, there's nothing positive that's coming from it, including the money.
Mm.
How can you say that? I bought my mom a house and we were in the ghetto. Yeah, but how did you do it? And who did you affect in the process?
Exactly.
And to the expense. I think I seen an interview with I think it was Young Thug. He was on Big Boy Radio. He said one of the reasons he had to stop. One of the reasons he stopped wearing a dress because the son or painting his fingernails. I forgot what he was doing. He said because the son was mimicking a lot of his behaviors, and that's why he stopped. And Big Boy asked I think his name is Big Boy, but he asked a profound question. He was like, "What about all our kids?" He stopped because of his son. It didn't stop him when the other kids was being affected. Uh, Coach, you want to hold on? Let me read some comments. Uh, pray. He says, "Pray that rap, pray that rap away." Amen. I had to repent after I bumped that 21 Savage.
Let's
Uh,
go.
yeah, was it worth it, Coach? Yeah, no such thing as sexual innuendo. Okay. I don't think most people think that far, Derek. You want to speak
You're
to that,
true.
Derek?
No, he's right.
Mm.
You got people like us that are critical thinkers that we're actively thinking about these things and its effect, and you got other people that most people that are not. So yeah, you're right with that, bro.
All right, Coach. Like I said, any quick to show how it's affected, or how it's been a force for evil in our community? Anything quick
Oh
you
my
want to
God,
touch on?
where,
How? Some examples.
where to start, man? Where to start? For one, language.
Mm.
Look at how we speak to one another. Violence. Look at
Mm.
how much we accept drug abuse,
Mm.
domestic violence. A lot of things tie back to go back to even the music videos like Tip Drill. What does that glorify?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it goes on and on and on, man.
I guess I could have asked a better question if you was in the elevator. I guess if somebody would ask you to sum up and without using a lot of words how it affected our community in a negative way. So I guess I just answer that. I could just say one of the things that stand out the most with hip hop, and this has been going on since the birth of hip hop, the difference between maybe rock and roll and hip hop. Hip hop has proclaimed and advocated to be anti-establishment. So they advocated it, and I think that's been a detriment for our community, going against the establishment. So it's funny because we came out of Jim Crow with the civil rights movement, where we was trying to uh, incorporate ourselves into the establishment, right? And then hip hop comes around like, nah, we're going against y'all. Like it just defeated all the purpose of our great grandparents our grandparents and great grandparents. Vulcan, anything you want to say, touch on anything quick? If you can explain
Uh,
how, some quick examples.
one thing I want to say for how, because everybody covered such great points. One of the things I want to just bring up is just one is I make a distinction between rap and hip hop. Rap is a vehicle to
Mm.
artistically communicate a message.
Rhythm and
That
poetry,
is
yeah.
that is neutral.
Hmm.
Hip hop is a subculture. Hip
Mm,
hop is a way of behavior. It's a way of living. It's a way of dressing. It's become more diverse as it's grown. So I don't want to say anything that's gonna box it up too much, too
yeah,
rigid, because it's expanded so much in its lifespan. It used to be not be cool to be a drug user in hip hop. What did Biggie say? People look at you like you's the loser. Selling drugs to all the losers. People look at you like you's the user. Selling drugs to all the losers. He called the drug the losers. But we listen to Future and Lil Wayne and guys like that now. Using the drugs is the cool thing to do because of the trip that you get. So it's changed, and I get that hip hop changes, but all in all, it still reinforces the worst parts about our community. One of the things I want to bring up that's seemingly more benign than the drug dealing and the murdering and the terrible way that they depict women is how braggadocious it is. Even if you go to much more PG rap, it's still braggadocious. The Bible would say this: "Let another praise you, not your own lips." Hip hop, at bare minimum, if you take away all the illegal stuff, is braggadocious.
Mm.
I remember the comedian Aries Spears said, "Rappers are the only people that can talk about how amazing they are on a track, and nobody hates them." Aries Spears, like, if I'll go on a comedy tour right now and talk about I'm this, I'm better than you, I'm rich, you're poor, I'm this, I'm that, they would throw tomatoes at me and kick me off the stage. Only rappers have an open license, a blank check, to be to talk cash money as much as they want about how amazing they are and how sucky in comparison to them you are, and we pay them for it.
yeah.
And real
Hey,
quick, I know you're ready to move on, brother. Real quick, I had a question, man. Why is it that black people? I mean, like we idolize, and I use that word loosely, um, celebrities instead of politicians or activists. Dr. Umar said it the best, man. Like we're the only race that again idolizes either our leaders or our community are only athletes or musicians.
Oh, that's
Why?
simple. The politicians don't have a nice beat behind them when they talking. That's simple. The music, man. Music is a useful tool to manipulate. Let me get
No
some of these
beat.
comments in. We can't forget my folks in the comments. Hey, that's the black mindset right there. Only care about what bothers them. Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. You know, some people don't
And hold
want
on,
people around them.
I want to say a quote to that comment real quick.
All right.
I came to a Sister Soldier Martin Luther King that said, "An injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere."
Yeah.
Meaning that even things that are not affecting you, you should deal with.
All right, shout out to Help the Bear. Say, you know, some people don't want people around them that think also. Shout out Insider. Shout out to Help the Bear. Yeah, John Goss said he wore a dress until he realized it affected his son. Typical black mindset. Really amazing. Expound on that, John Go. Help the Bears actually to expound on that. All right, so yeah, so we all know. I don't know if Coach is still here. Oh, you
I'm
still
here,
there?
brother. I'm here.
All right, so I'm gonna go to you first with this next topic because the topic is hip hop and how it's been. I take this off. How it's been a force for evil in our community. One of the things that hip hop is promoted was gangsterism or gang banging. Some that they go back and forth. Um, was blacks the first to be gangsters or actually introduce gang banging to American culture? So my next question is, who should we hate more? Shout out to Takashi. Who should we hate more, real or fake gangsters? I'm gonna ask Andre, and then Cameron there.
Real or fake gangsters?
Yeah, who should we respect more, real or fake gangsters?
Uh, real.
You said we should respect real gangsters. All right, we're gonna get to. You can explain after. We just
I
want to get
said,
started.
Okay. The question was to who should we hate more, who should we respect more?
Respect. Who should we? Oh, who should we hate more? I'm sorry. Thanks for that.
Okay.
Yeah, who should we hate
Okay.
more,
So
real or
who
fake
should we
gangster?
hate more
Hold on. Let's
is
go back to
fake
coach.
gangsters for
Let's
sure.
go back to coach. Because
Okay.
yeah, who should we hate more, real or fake gangsters? Is coach still on? All right, let's go ahead and go with you, Cam. Who should we
I
hate
was just
more?
gonna say we should hate fake gangsters more.
We should hate fake gangsters more. All right, let's go with Derek.
Well, you know, I got to say this in the words of Vulcan. Well, we shouldn't hate any of them, but if I had to choose which one I'm going to respect more, that's a loose words there, but I would say the fake ones.
Mm, that you
No,
would.
no, 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 no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If I would respect the real gangster,
Oh, but not
not the
respect.
fake.
As okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
because
you would.
I don't want to hate any of them.
Okay, okay. I don't know where Vulcan is at. Coach, you still off?
I
I had
am. I am. Did you hear my response?
no, I did. I got the question wrong. The question is, who should we hate more, real or fake gangsters?
I'm gonna say real because if you take away the real, there is no fake.
That's good thought.
Okay. All right, Vulcan. Re- repeat the
Yeah,
question. I know you was off. Who should we hate more, real or fake gangsters?
I'm gonna say definitely. Obviously, we gotta hate the
Before I
real
just
gang.
said that, he said, "Feed Vulcan the ball." All right, I got him. He's talking right now. Help the bear. He's talking. All right, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I would definitely say we definitely gotta hate the real ones more. Are we getting the why yet, or are we just saying which
Nah,
one?
this why.
Okay.
Oh no, not now. Just who should we hate? Let's start off with Coach Derek, Cam, and Vulcan.
All right.
Coach. All right, let's just go ahead and go with Derek.
Well, I like his thought on the fact that if there's no real, there's no fake. But I also want to look at it from this perspective. We're gonna have them, and since we're gonna have them, I think the fake is worse because you're perpetrating. These the ones that are real. If they ain't got God in their life, they're just telling you what's happening in their world. They rapping about what's happening in their world, and that's what they see, that's what they live, that's what they talk about. So to have some dude who lives in Beverly Hills with his pants baggy talking about his struggle just to make what? It's all about the money in that game. So yeah.
Cam, what you got on it?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna wrap it up, man. It's getting a little late for me, but I'm gonna say I would. The reason why I would respect the real gangsters, to piggyback on what Derek said, also, but also, man, a real gangster isn't glorifying it, man. He's just saying what it is. You don't want to be in that roach and rat infested apart in their projects. You don't want to be. He don't want to be poor and struggling. He'd much rather be that rich kid in Beverly Hills. So I think he's just, that's the real G wouldn't want to be in that position. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
So can you give us an example of a real gangster?
Well, obviously, I don't know. I would say Big Meech or Stanley. The rest of the C Stanley City Williams.
And you're saying that when he was actively being a gangster, he didn't want to be a gangster?
When he was alive, before he died, he did not want to be a gangster.
But was he a
writing
gangster
children's
before he
books.
died?
Yeah.
He was?
Yeah, he was an OG, triple OG.
What was he doing
Still
gangster?
writing children's books.
What was he doing gangster before he died?
Well, he was in he was in prison before he died. He was on death row.
You can be a gangster in prison.
Absolutely, you can.
What was he doing gangster in prison?
He was still a Crip in prison before he died.
How was he cripping in prison?
I wasn't in Pelican Bay with him, bro. But
how do you know that he was? So again, my question is this.
So before he passed, he was communicating with people in Cali to sign a peace treaty with the Crips and the Bloods to have a peace treaty, and he was speaking on behalf of the Crips to stop the violence.
And they stopped it?
For a while.
So my point is saying this. If I lock a quote-unquote gangster in a box, let's say in a coffin, they're not gangster in anything. They're just in a box. Just like if I put a chef in a box, they're not chefing anything.
It's a chef in the box.
So my point is saying this right here. A gangster is somebody who participates in gangster activity. A gangster being a violent ruffian or a gangster being a member of a gang. I'll take any of those two definitions. So when you say that a gangster is somebody who doesn't really want to be a gangster, they'd rather live in Beverly Hills, I don't think that's an accurate depiction of most gangsters.
That's not what I said. I said a real G. Well, maybe I should have said like a retired or like somebody that's seen the light, a reformed.
Well, yeah, retired is different. I mean, because retired,
I should have said reformed gangster. I should have said reformed gangster. I shouldn't have said like an act. Like if you active, then that's different.
Yeah, because if you reform something, you reform it, right? It's not what it used to be.
You ain't got to mute me, bro. I'm muting myself, bro.
Somebody muted you?
Always.
Oh. So yeah, so my point is saying that is this right here is that when people say, the real, because it's to me, Cam, my concern what you're saying is that it's still in some way glorifying a gangster by saying the real ones are doing this, and you've already changed. So I agree with how you reworded it. I agree with when you refine your definition of it. I'm 100% with you, Cam. I'm just saying initially when people, because I heard people say this thing about, well, the real gangsters, they don't want to be gangsters. That's not true. So the real gangsters are the ones who create baby gangsters and get people to do the hard work for them because they've earned their stripes and like a businessman. What does Warren Buffett say? I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's effort than 100% of my own effort. That's just basic understanding of how to create organizations, right? So if I'm a gangster and I'm getting older, I don't want to keep having to do all the stuff myself. So I'm gonna get 100 dummies to do it for me.
Right. You don't want to put in work yourself, right? You want to look at your hands dirty.
Yeah,
No,
well,
so no,
yeah, at some point in time.
I said that wrong. So yeah, 100%. Again, no way, shape, or form glorifying that.
Yeah, and it's
just
not about you, Cam. I just want the audience when they hear that, because I don't want them to think, because I just, one thing about the black community a lot of times is there seems to be this pedestalizing of the gangster. And so with the real, he ain't no real gangster. Well, why are we making it seem like it's some kind of, achievement to be the real version of it? Because to me, the fake one at least has the understanding that, I'm not gonna really go murder that guy. That's crazy. I'm Robert De Niro in Casino. That's what's going. Come on, I'll be for real.
So you respect Tekashi 6ix9ine more than you respect Big Meech.
Of course. And the reason is clear, and I'm glad, Cam, I'm so glad you asked that question. That's an excellent question, because think about it. A fake gangster, I respect them more for one of two reasons, or maybe both the reasons. Either they're too fearful to actually go out and commit crimes, in which case at least they have a healthy respect of the law. I got my grandma walking around here. I got my kids walking around here, my uncles and my aunts walking around here. I don't know a real gangster actually around them. You see what I'm saying? The fake one is cool. It's entertaining. It's funny. When I was a kid, I said we want to be the Ninja Turtles and be the Power Rangers. I wasn't
Harmless.
actually the Power Ranger.
Harmless. And which is, I feel what you're saying. And also Tekashi in specific, he realizes the game, right? He's playing the game to get paid.
Now, Cam, I think that Tekashi is a real gangster, though.
I muted myself.
You got a rebuttal to that? Go ahead,
I don't
Cam.
know him personally. Nor do I want to know him personally, any of these people. But stop it. Vulcan, stop. James, stop it,
why can't he be a gangster? That's what I want to. Why can't he be a gangster?
He said himself that he said himself on the stand that he denounced. Like he said himself, he's not a part of any gang for real. He paid for his gang affiliation.
So
he's being extorted, basically.
Huh?
He's being extorted, basically. Well, exactly, not basically. He was being extorted, and he knew it. He was paying for the street cred.
According to the original case, he was paying for hits. That's gangster. He was associated with the gangsters and doing gangster activity. That's gangster. If you see me with Emeril Lagasse cooking with the hat on and stuff like that on a regular basis, paying to be associated with Emeril Lagasse's chefing stuff, what I got to do before you say he's not very good at it, but he's definitely a chef?
Who did he pay to get killed? Who did he get killed, bro? If he went on a stand and said, "I paid this amount of money to get this person killed," there's no way that he'd be killed.
Let me say this real quick, and I answer your question. And Derek and Coach, and feel free to chime in. But I want to say this right here. Again, my issue with what you're saying, Cam, is you're making a real gangster, some kind of rite of passage that you have to be a certain level to be able to end up in this category. Like,
not at all. I'm just saying that's not him.
What would he have to do to be like? He's involved in criminal activity. He's associated with criminals. He's doing. What does he have to do for you to consider him a criminal?
No. I didn't say he's a criminal
or
for
a gangster.
Sure. He's a criminal for sure, but he's not a member of a gang, which is a gangster.
Well, no. Well, I would say this. That's why I said earlier, and I agree with you. I said there's two definitions I'll accept about a gangster. One is somebody who's a member of a gang. Another one is a violent ruffian, which is, you look at the dictionary for gangster.
That's thug.
Huh?
Not gangster. That's thug, not gangster.
Thug, gangster, it's those are synonyms of each other.
Okay.
Because if I say what up, when people, so if we're saying literally gang, then okay, maybe if you're saying that they have to be literally, because when we say that, hey, that's gangster, we just mean somebody who's in the street world doing their thing. I'm saying if you're putting hits, I put it like this way: if that affected somebody in our family, we would be like, well, he's not a gangster; he's just pretending to be. If somebody puts a hit on my family for a gang to hit them, they're a part of that gang in my world. They're the money. They're the money. The gang is lives off money. All organizations need money. Here's money, so you can be a gangster.
All right, definitions. Definition of a gangster. A member of a criminal organization that systematically makes money from such activities as gambling, prostitution, narcotic trafficking, industrial extortion. Although there exist throughout the world professional criminals that work with associates on a particular job, series of jobs, the gangster is a member of a permanent, highly structured organization. He was a part of. That's why he was on the RICO, because he was a part of the Bloods. So,
Okay, all
by
right.
definition wise, technically he was a gangster. That's why he.
Was
That's why
was
he
he
was
a
on
part of
trial.
that? Was he a part of that gang, man, or was he? Okay, well, if he pays for, it, he's a part of it. So are you
But
right?
even when you
Okay, we
say you
got you.
pay for it, even I wanted to touch on that when you
Yeah,
say you pay for it, because
yeah.
you in our community, you know, a lot of people that pledge sororities or fraternities. You got people that actually pay for
Me.
that, and that didn't actually go out the line, but they pay for it. They still get, you know, they still representatives of that sorority or fraternity. So, uh, you know, I think that was one of the reasons why he was actually getting indicted, because it was on record of him ordering hits. You know. All right, so
I got it. That's a
coach,
good
you
one, man. I got it. Yeah.
yeah, and that's a good point Vulcan was bringing. I was thinking about that. When can we say these people are gangster? What do they have to do? I mean, you ordering hits. What's the parameter to like? All right, this person is finally a gangster now. But how
Why
much
is there
wickedness he
why is
have to
there a
do?
rite of passage to gangsterism?
Mhm.
It just doesn't add up. That's not directed at you, Cam. I'm just saying our black culture was so backwards. We have like a special category for a real gangster.
For
No.
real.
If you do violent activity, if you're doing illegal activity, if you're doing intimidation tactics to get things done and coercion, you are a gangster.
Can't forget
The
my
only reason I'm
comments. Let's
saying
get my
real gangsters
comments.
because that was on the title of the question. I don't use that terminology.
Yeah.
Can't forget the college Vulcan is spinning bars. If you put in the shelf, if you put a shelf in a box, he ain't shelving anything. Indeed. My name is Slim Jesus. You thought I really slid on ops? At least I got Jesus in my name, dude. Oh yeah, direct quote for Slim Jesus. If y'all don't remember, he was a white drill rapper, and I think he got millions and millions of views. He was talking about a lot of killing, and asked him, did he participate in street activity? He was like, nah. And then his
Read that comment. I agree with that one, man.
an employer laying off thousands of employees. Now that's gangster. Okay, all right.
That's
That
not
is
Fact.
not
changing with.
gangster, y'all. That's business.
All right, so Derek, Coach, you got anything? Y'all want to add some? I have to spend too
Yeah,
much.
So
I've always looked at the uh, gangster definition. In my opinion, is a person that uh, gains by using violence. Any person that gains by using violence with no um, consideration for human life. That's a gangster to me.
Mm.
yeah. Well, and so I want to make sure it was clear what I was saying earlier, everybody. Like the reason why I respect that we use Enos's terms, or why I hate a real gangster more, is because they're actually doing evil things to get things done. The fake gangster at least has one of two things: either they are so fearful or cowardly that of the law itself, that's a good thing, that they at least won't actually do it. So they have a healthy respect of the law. That yes, the law is bigger and more powerful than me, and I shall submit to it. I can respect that because that means the system's working, and that's going to protect me and my family and my friends that I care about, all of you on this panel. Or so either they're afraid of the law, or they're just doing it for some kind of selfish reason to gain something in society, which to me is I'd rather them do that than actually be hurting people.
Yep.
You want to speak to that, Derek?
I second it.
All right. Cam?
I can agree with that,
All
100%.
right. I think, Coach, you agree, right?
I do, brother. I do. Fellas, I got to call it not a little early, man. I appreciate y'all having me on once
Never,
again.
Thank you, man. Thank you for
Yes, sir. My boy Dre.
Yeah, invite me
yeah.
back. I'll pull up.
Y'all
Shout
will
out,
sure.
fix him.
shout out
All
to
right, brother.
Coach. It's always a pleasure, man. Thanks for
Yes,
coming
sir.
out and
Appreciate
hanging
it,
out
brother.
with us, man.
Never thought I'd
All
say
right.
I'm like a real gangster. I'm a fake gangster of a real gangster. Never thought I'd say that, bro. Never thought I hit a day where I
Hey,
say
my
that.
boy Cam that came
But
up. Y'all
that's a
might
good
have
one.
seen it on the show.
That's a
Yeah,
good one.
welcome to the
We
that,
appreciate you, Cam. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, for sure,
That's your
man. For sure, man. Y'all be safe. I gotta go, man. But y'all be safe, man. Out here
again.
for
Thank you for
How
sure.
many
coming out,
topics we
man.
got left? How many topics we got left?
We only got one left. This is the last one. Last one. Got two more questions.
Ah.
Go ahead, Cam. You got a little bit more time. Come on.
Yeah, come on, man. I'm just gonna
All
stay
right.
for it, bro.
That's what's up, my guy.
We
My
ride
guy.
together, we die together.
All right,
Bad boys for
man.
life.
All right,
Bad boys for life.
final
Bad boys.
topic. Derek, and y'all was actually a part of it. We touched on religion a couple weeks
Somebody's
ago.
audio. There we go. Sorry.
I thought Kel said I ain't have to do that, man. I'm gonna talk to the staff. All right, religion. Question. Um, why our church is non-denominational? Let's go ahead and start with my guy, Derek.
Well, if we kind of look back when it started, or when your first non-denominational churches came on the scenes in the 18th century, it was for specific reasons. When you look at it in the 20th century, people started breaking off. It started to become a profession. It was a way to get away from certain doctrines, only to create your own. So I think that I go to a non-denominational church, but when you look at how it started, it's like, wow, there's just no beautiful root to that.
Mm, mm. All right. Um, Hold on, let me say. Oh, read the comments. Help the bear. Oh yeah, coach is left. He said, "Hold it down, coach." Yeah, for sure, man. Also, don't be manifesting that bad boys for life. And so we could try to attract the bad boys. Law of attraction. All right, Kel. Let's.
To be honest with you, man, I've always been confused. I'm not confused, but this maybe off topic, but I always get confused with, when people say, "Oh, I'm not Catholic, I'm a Christian." I never understood that because I thought that Catholicism was the first denomination of Christianity or the first sect of Christianity. Uh,
No,
Derek is saying I'm wrong, but
sorry.
to answer the question, I don't know.
All right,
I don't know.
Derek, want to speak to that?
Yeah, Catholics are not Christian. That is something that just started to come on the scene as of late. And if somebody were, because I have a bunch of Catholic friends, I used to speak. I went to St. Mary's University, and I used to hold meetings, and I'd be the only guy in the room full of Catholics. And what I learned was none of them knew the Bible. Now, obviously, y'all might know some Catholic. Oh yeah, none of them. I know a lady that goes to church every single day. For she's 51 right now. She has never opened the Bible in her life. In her life. And so I always tell people this. This is running live. I'm gonna get there's gonna be some people getting gangsta on me. Um, when you look at Catholicism, and then you look at quote unquote Christianity, they're not even they're not even similar. Just because you say the name Jesus doesn't mean anything. We'll have to talk off camera on this one, dude. This one I have like 8 hours of footage that if you saw it, your eyes would be so big you wouldn't believe it.
Let's do that seriously because I'm very interested in
Okay.
that. Let's do that for
Okay.
real.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was the whole Reformation. This is why Martin Luther, I believe, was excommunicated from the Catholic Church because I guess during that period they were was it the Pope or the priest? They was the only ones that was able to read the Bible, and then when other citizens or believers was able to read the Bible, they was noticing a lot of contradictions and stuff they was doing that was wrong. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
I'm,
that was
I'm,
the
I'm,
Protestant movement.
I'm
But
familiar with that somewhat, and I'm familiar with the plethora of rituals that are involved in Catholicism that aren't doctrine. But again, we'll have to talk about more about that,
No doubt.
off camera. But as far as why denominations, I don't know. I don't
you
know
know that. All right,
why
but we
there's
want to
not
talk.
denominations. I could use common sense, right, and say, well, we don't want to get caught up on denominations, and we don't want to lose focus on what it's really about, or what have you. But I don't know.
All right, you want to speak to this, Vulcan? Why our church is non-denominational?
So yeah, I'll speak to that, but I first want to just clear up a potential misunderstanding, not by the panel, but by the audience about Catholic, Roman Catholic, blah blah blah. Now, so the thing is, again, this is why it's so important to understand words. So Catholic means universal. So we say loosely Catholic, right? Like I may call Richard Dick, or I may call James Jimmy. That's not really what I mean to say. We may abbreviate certain things, right? The examples I use weren't really abbreviations, but I can't think of one right now. We might call William Will. That's a good one right there, right? I may call Roman Catholic Catholic for short, but Catholic and Roman Catholic are two different things. Catholic just means universal. So there has always, so when you see historically speaking, when you read historical documents, the word Catholic, that has nothing to do with a pope. That just means the church as a whole. All the body of believers. Roman Catholicism started much later. It is not a denomination of Christianity. Well, loosely it is. I mean, it depends on, obviously you can define it that way. So I won't say that. I'll say that, but it's not considered a denomination of Protestantism, I should say. Protestantism is what you see with. So you got Methodist, Episcopalian, Lutheran, Pentecostal. You got all your different denominations. Now to go back and
What
answer the
is it?
question.
What define Vulcan? Define Christianity for or their define Christianity for me, please, right now.
Who wants to do that?
I'm gonna let you have that one.
20 seconds or less.
Ooh, that's tough. That's you, Vulcan.
It's freezing a little bit on my end. Yeah, it's freezing a little bit on my end. But yeah, so now the thing is, I'm not sure what you mean by you want me to give my definition of Christianity. You want me to give like the most typical definition? You want me to, I'm not exactly sure what you mean there.
I'm
You
not.
know
I'm
what?
not
You know
saying
what?
what do you think it is to be a Christian. I'm saying define Christianity.
Derek, you would say something too, Derek, real quick before I answer that?
If I got 20 seconds to do it, I would say this. The way we use the term Christianity, it is a follower of Christ that believes the Bible is the word of God. If we just shortened it, because I say that statement because you could not use that for somebody that's in Roman Catholicism. Statistically, I'm pretty sure there's some in there that do.
Yes. And primarily because Roman Catholics, just like Eastern Orthodox, which is a little bit different, Rome's the West, Eastern Orthodox the East, but what they both have in common is they follow the church. So in the Roman Catholicism, they have papal infallibility, which means when the Pope speaks on things such as faith and doctrine, what he says is not to be debated.
Yeah,
right.
Ooh.
Church and state separate, all that good stuff. I get that.
Protestantism, our interpretation of the Bible so far, I'll say, the Bible so far as we interpret it correctly is the final authority. That's a major distinction between Roman Catholics and Eastern Orthodox and Protestantism. So our authorities are going to be different.
Okay. Again, I get the whole church and state separate and all that. That's what I get all that stuff, and I understand what you're saying.
Church and state.
Completely. Hold on a second, brother. Hold on a second. So, and you mentioned Roman Catholicism, and Orthodox Catholicism, Russia or whatever, but even Orthodox Christianity, right? I Again, I'm not saying, and Derek said, he said, you know, I didn't mean to say 20 seconds or less, bro. But,
That's right.
and again,
Because this is passing up 20
I'm
right
not
here.
saying what, huh?
Now I said this is passing up 20 seconds right here, but go ahead.
I'm not saying what it means to you to be a Christian. Like, because I know plenty of Catholics in my family that read the Bible, that accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. And it just always confused me.
Well,
I thought the prereq was to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior and to take the Bible as the Word of God, right?
you know what? I used to ask my Catholic friends that, and when you ask them what their definition of Jesus as their Lord and Savior, listen to some of those answers, because you cannot go through Mass and understand what it is and then say you follow Christ. But what it is most people, like I said, the most Catholic that I know, and I mean a bunch of them, they've never opened the Bible. I had a lady tell me, "How can you tell me I don't know God?" I'm going, "Well, you just admitted you've never read the Bible, ever. So what
And
are you talking?"
and what I will say is this,
And just to anchor that down to a text, you know, in the Bible, in the book of Acts, the Bereans were considered the most noblest of the Jews. The Bereans were the most noblest because when the Apostle Paul was speaking, so we talk about the papal infallibility of the Pope today, we got the Apostle Paul speaking, and they were still looking in the text to see if what he was saying was true. They didn't even consider him infallible.
Yep. Do you know what 3 popes have said publicly? They
that
said, "Why do you need to go to God when I'm here?" 3 of them. And that was just the 3 that I saw. So I'm pretty sure that seems to be something that yeah, he's like, why do you need to go to God when I'm here?
Yeah,
And if
that is
somebody told
evil.
if somebody told me they were a follower of Christ and that religion came up, we'd have a conversation on understanding what it means. Because once the Holy Spirit is convicting you in some areas, you've got to look at that and go, wait a minute, that is totally the opposite of what I'm claiming to believe says. And then you got to make some decisions. As a matter of fact, I'm going to end with this real quick. There was a guy, he had been a Catholic for 38 years, and somebody was saying something to him about the Bible, and he says, "No, I'm gonna go to my bishop." So he went to his bishop's office. This was actually on YouTube. He went to his bishop's office, and he's in this office that has 2,000 books. And so he's asking him biblical questions. The bishop never answered him. And so he asked him, he says, "Why aren't you answering my questions?" He said, "Well, the Roman Catholic Church is built on the traditions. It's the traditions that we follow. So if you ask me some questions on that, I could give you more credence." Then he said this. He says, "Well, this is the guy. He said, "Can you get your Bible so that I could show you what I'm trying to ask?" Do you know that the bishop in this guy's area, or whatever, out of 2,000 books, did not have one Bible? Need I say more? And that dude now has converted to Christianity, all by conviction of the Holy Spirit.
That's potent right there. Very potent.
Yeah.
So
38 years.
So yeah, going to the I think you asked. I don't know if I answered the question yet, Darius. What was the question again?
Why are so many churches? Or why are churches? Why are churches non-dominated? I'm looking at the other screen.
Yeah, I see. Why non-denominational?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I just want to speak to that. You know, and it really is gonna just speak to what Derek has already said, which is a lot of it. One of my favorite pastors made this quote. I guess I'll give him credit for it, John MacArthur. You know, he said that he's like, this guy's almost 80 years old. He says that when he was coming up, congregants would congregate based off of a common theology. They all had similar doctrines. But nowadays, people don't know doctrine at all. Yep. So people congregate based off a common methodology. How what the method of the church is going to be.
Yep.
the music, the AC, do they have a place for the kids to go to? It's not
Yeah.
about doctrine and teaching anymore. It's about
Pragmatism.
comfortability and
That's right.
familiarity. So
Now that's a
once
feast on it. Sorry.
Absolutely. So there's no denominational distinction to be had anymore because nobody even knows the difference between Lutheran, Episcopalian, Wesleyan, Methodist, Baptist. Nobody knows the difference anymore. It's just all words to everybody now. So why keep the denominations? And then it goes to what Derek was saying is that, so if I'm a pastor and I'm a part of that culture too, I don't know doctrine as well as I used to, and I'm not as convicted about the doctrinal distinction. So why would I have this person above me in my denomination telling me what I can and can't do when I can just separate non-denominational, which means I'm not affiliated to any authorities that govern what I say and don't say. I am the final say-so doctrinally. And so I think the non-denominational thing became one, because the parishioners are not educated in theology anymore. And number two, because the leadership want less accountability.
Yep. Yep. Man, I would challenge, because you mentioned my dude, I would challenge anybody to get on YouTube and listen to John MacArthur talk about Catholicism. It's like he's got like 12 2-hour. It is, when you hear it, you're like, what? Yeah, it's
yeah. Yeah, that's facts.
I think we covered that.
Last one.
Yeah, last question for the road. Why are black churches predominantly women?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Want to start that off, Derek?
Yeah. I wish Coach was here, because Coach started this. He said this in the very first question. One of the reasons is why it's predominantly women is, like he said, women were holding the fort down, especially black women. They were holding the fort down. The men weren't around, so they're watching grandma, great grandma, nana. They watching everybody hold the fort down, but they know grandma was spiritual, so everybody knew to go to church and knew to do whatever. And then it gets to a place where that was the woman's safe haven, was church. It was the only, I mean, they're doing the woman part and the man part. And when they're in church, they could subliminally just kind of let the hair down and let the Holy Spirit comfort them in the way that, that he would comfort them. And so I think that's one of the biggest reasons why black women, they're more in church than not. And obviously there's a lot of substance to that.
Yeah. Even the church that you and I know very well from the past, a lot of ladies gravitate towards that church, and I want to focus on the fact, because it's very much emotional, intuition based, emotion based, feeling based, experience based, and that plays to the female nature.
Yep.
Men typically want things to be scalable, quantifiable. Yep. If you quote the Bible, I can look at it and interpret it and hold you accountable. I can use it in my own household. It's scalable. It's usable. It's useful. If you tell me God said this, I can't do anything with that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you he didn't. Sometimes, unless it outright contradicts something that we know, I can't tell you he did.
Yep.
But it puts you in a special position. Women tend to gravitate towards authority figures, so they tend to look at them like, wow. I remember one lady in particular at a church that Derek and I were familiar with, where a lady told a guy, like, you're actually growing in the spirit. She said he was growing in the spirit, not because his life of holiness or something like that. She said he grew in the spirit because he interpreted tongues.
Yeah.
We couldn't verify he actually did it. We couldn't verify he didn't do it. But she was definitively saying in absolute terms he was growing because of an experience that she saw with her eyes that we could not verify.
Yeah.
And where in the Bible is somebody told they're growing in the spirit by some kind of gift of the spirit, gift of the spirit being utilized? It never happens. 100%. That has never been a marker for growth.
That would be like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Derek.
That would be like the one time that the Holy Spirit used me and said, open your eyes. I'm going to heal. He said, open your eyes, go over there. I'm going to heal that lady right now. and that lady's knee was, y'all can't even see my hands. My hands are off the screen. That's how big her knee was. And when I finished praying, my hands were like this around her knee. And so we physically saw the manifestation of what God said he was going to do. But you can't say I'm growing in the spirit because God chose to use me in that that had nothing to do with my ability. It had everything to do with my availability.
It'd be like me saying, like Derek going, "Hey James, give that lady $10, and somebody's like, "James, you're actually growing financially."
Yeah.
Am I right, Derek? Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
True.
So the thing is that going back to it, a lot of the reasons why these churches are becoming very women based is because men naturally aren't going to be as attracted to a guy up there beguiling people with their words. The churches are out of order. There's confusion. There's disorder, and that's going to be something that men are going to be like, well, I might as well stay in the streets. I might as well just do what I'm doing over here in business. If the church is going to be just as corrupt as business, I might as well stay out here in the business world and do this. But the superstition in the church, women are going to gravitate towards that. I mentioned this in a show before. Over 80% of, I think it's even more, 80% of crystal sales is women. The crystals you see in them stores that men walk by or don't think about it, those ladies put it in their home and pray to it and rub it and think it's giving them some kind of value in the home spiritually. Tarot cards and astrology, that's over 80% women. So they gravitate towards these non-metric, rubric-based systems, feeling-based, experience-based, intuition-based things. And a lot of the churches become filled with that. As we get less logical, less critical, as we don't recognize fallacies as much as we used to because we're not as learned in how to think properly as our ancestors were at certain points, the churches become an incubator for false doctrine. And men may not be to tell you why it's false doctrine, but they're just going to be like, it's inconsistent. It's illogical. It's inconsistent. Even if they can't articulate it themselves. But for the lady, she get the emotional high of an experience.
Yep.
The music speaks to them.
Yep.
You don't see men falling out on music. If Beyonce or Usher has a song, but you will see ladies falling out under the music. And the church has mastered music. So that's why I say all those experiences and appealing to the five senses, that is going to definitely appeal to the feminine nature a lot more than the masculine nature, even though the masculine nature is affected by that stuff as well. We're still humans, but not nearly to the same extent. That's my 5 cents on that.
Definitely, man. So I think we covered everything. I guess we go around. I'm trying to fix this screen. I guess we go around, man, and give y'all closing statements.
Yeah, speak to the audience for it, Derek.
Well, hey, KTFM 102.7 FM. No, I'm just kidding. I hope everybody learned something today. I know one of the things I learned was the fallacy of composition. That is like huge. That is so rampant in so many different sects of life. Proverbs 28:9. I knew that one. That was freaking awesome. I like this dialogue, and I like how easily we're able to change our belief on something if we didn't know it. These conversations could be very problematic with a person who doesn't allow themselves the ability to think clearly and to step back and say, you know what, I don't agree, but let me kind of formulate why I don't agree and support that with something. And then the other person could say, you know what, now that you've given your supporting evidence, let me show you why that's false. I think this panel's really good because there are going to be some people that thought a certain way, and then they hear some different points of view that can be proven. And it's like, wow, that just gave me clarity on what I thought I understood. And so that's what I love about the panel.
Definitely. Thank you for having you, man. It's always a pleasure when you come on and have this dialogue with us. Just for the viewers, Vulcan, you can close out and just say this. This is what, you heard Derek touch on this. We set ourselves apart from other platforms we like to make it a habit. Definitely, we like to not only make it a habit, but we practice and magnifying the power of logic. We are committed to advancing critical thinking for maximum improvement. So, keep in mind if the more you study critical thinking and engage with it, you will develop intellectual virtues. A lot of times just conversing with other people is a more a low resolution moral element that's going on when you're conversing. Keeping integrity, honesty. A lot of these things play a factor when you are having discussions with your counterparts, coworkers, family members, etc. So these tools, we just want to equip people with these type of tools to help you navigate the complexities of this world. And so you don't have to run to us or any one person for answers. You can actually have the tools and empower yourselves to find these answers. So that's our primary motivation for doing the show, and we like to have our friends and family members to come on and have these type of dialogues. And also too, for those, just keep in mind, let's say this, just to one of the ways to create or enhance your creativity, you have to be open minded. And one of the ways you
Yep.
can be open minded is challenging your biases. That's essential
Mm.
to be an effective critical thinker. So for those that want, you have to
Yep.
think outside the box in order to enhance your creativity. That's one of the effects of being a critical thinker. So, like I said, thanks for coming out. My name is Enos, and I'm gonna pass it on to Vulcan to close.
Hey, Vulcan, before you close, can I make just one quick statement? I meant to say it
Yes,
earlier
sir.
and it
Yes,
slipped
sir.
me. The most detrimental thing with rap, with music in general, is there was a study done that says if the fastest way to get something in your subconscious is through music. So when you take that into consideration and then you start talking about hip hop, wow, that's a whole nother
Yeah.
animal. So just knowing that, I mean, think about the songs you remember or the things you remember because it was in a jingle. I mean, dude, I know Spanish songs
The
because
best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
hey, I got one for you. I got one for you that for us is 40 something years old, and y'all gonna freak out that I'm about to do this. Here we go. They call me Yuck Mouth because you don't brush, because I yak my teeth like this. They call me Yuck Mouth because you don't brush. How's about a little kiss? I got some beef in my teeth, got some chicken too. Ah, that's a cavity. Hey, that's, you remember that whole, why do I remember that?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it gets in the subconscious, man. It's just there. And you're like, how do I remember that?
Mm.
Yeah, it's a trip. It's a trip.
Yeah.
Close us out, Vulcan.
Yeah. We got one more comment in there. I believe it's the last comment. You want to read that comment? He knows.
Which one to help the bear? Vulcan, you don't know my personal relationship with God. What's this? James, don't forget to get the San Antonio vision, your uncle and cousins. The method is repetition. That's true. Repetition. The most beautiful thing in this world looks like it just look like that. Vocal soapbox.
You could at least said it in the way it's song. The most beautiful thing in this
Thing of the
world is
world.
just like
Yeah.
that.
Keith
I
Murray,
got you, Help
yeah.
the Bear. I got you, Help the Bear. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to my uncle. Thanks, Unc. Yeah, I gotta get to San Antonio. I'll be there tomorrow. So yeah, thanks for reminding me. But I know I'm gonna be there. But yeah, so to close this whole show out, y'all, I appreciate Derek being on. He knows did a great job moderating the show. Kicking it with the soapboxing with the Vulcans, with the Vulcan. And so I just want to share to the point that what Derek made as far as I won't even go into that because I think he covered it pretty well. I'll just close it out by saying this. Definitely tune in. I want to read a comment that was said by somebody, and it goes to what Derek's point was about, being able to cross-examine things, be able to change your mind and be humble and be open. Somebody, I won't say who it was out of respect for them, but somebody sent me a message saying, respectfully, I'm going to step away from that topic. I don't discuss religion in any capacity. It is a touchy subject for me. And we just got to recognize with that kind of mindset, what happens is if you're not correct, if you're wrong, you have no way of getting out of that box in and of yourself. The man who presents his case first seems right till another person comes and cross-examines them. We need peer review. We need the scientific method. We need our people to come around and say, hey, look, that you might be off a little bit on that, and challenge our views for all kind of reasons, scientifically, philosophically, religiously, all of that kind of stuff. So we gotta welcome open discussion. We gotta welcome criticism. In business, in the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, he talks about that. The great businesses were ones where they would argue and debate so that the best ideas won. In the book of Acts 15, it says a sharp dispute broke out from among them about the doctrine.
Yep.
Debating and disputing is something that's necessary for growth, for maturity, for scalability, to make sure that you're always at the best, at your best, at the peak that you could possibly be. Because when we have low times and we have troublesome seasons, if you're not on your A game, sometimes you suffer more than you have to, and those you love and care about. So I just want the audience to hear the reason why this is so important for us to be challenged on ideas and to examine each other and cross-examine each other and clarify terminology and do all this stuff is because we need to be making sure that we're on the right path of truth. And we don't want to be beguiled or hoodwinked by people who have fancy words and eloquent diction. And that's why it's so important for us to utilize these tools. So don't put yourself in a box. Don't say, well, I'm not going to discuss that because it's touchy. The touchy things are the things that are typically the most important for our humanity and for our livelihood. So don't let somebody tell you that don't go into that. That's trouble. Not going into it keeps those who don't have your best interest at heart in power. Give them the leverage over you. Take back that leverage. Give it to your kids, your family, your friends. That's all I have to say. Vulcan Soapboxing. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, Vulcan. You know you're the quote master, right?
Quote master.
Hey, I got a closing quote for you that goes.
Oh yeah.
With everything we've said today. I actually had this on Facebook. It says, "It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it," by Aristotle. I was like, that is
big.
perfect. Yeah,
That's big.
All right, man. Till
Love
next
you
All right,
time.
fellas. Yes, sir. Love y'all. Love you. Let's do this again.
Yes, sir.
Right.